There are stories that shimmer like light, and then there are those that cut through the fabric of time itself. The Mirror of Fate is one such tale, a mesmerizing fusion of destiny, love, and choices that refuse to die, even across lifetimes. When Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo take center stage in this breathtaking narrative, the screen doesn't just reflect their faces. It reflects the souls of two men entangled in a bond that transcends logic, reason, and even death itself. The story begins in the shadowed halls of an ancient temple buried deep within the misty mountains of Yunsheng. Legends say that the temple was built around a relic, an ancient mirror crafted by the gods themselves, said to reveal not just reflections but destinies. They call it the Mirror of Fate. Many had sought its truth, and many had perished, for those who dared to gaze into it often vanished without a trace. Xiao Zhan plays Yunsheng, a historian and scholar obsessed with uncovering forgotten myths. His life is one of silence and solitude. Books, old scrolls, and endless nights spent chasing the meaning of ancient symbols. But there's one legend that keeps haunting him. The story of the mirror that shows not your face, but your soul's true path. Wang Yibo steps in as Zhan, a mysterious traveler with no past and no name. He appears on a stormy night, wounded and half-conscious, at the doorstep of Yunsheng's small mountain hut. When Yunsheng takes him in, tending to his injuries, he begins to sense something unexplainable, a strange familiarity, as if this stranger's presence had echoed through his dreams long before they met. From the moment their eyes meet, something shifts. The air thickens. The old wooden floors creak as though recognizing an ancient promise being rekindled. Yunsheng finds fragments of memories that aren't his, flashes of another time, another place, and a man who looks exactly like Zhan, standing beside him under the same moonlight, whispering a vow that was never fulfilled. One evening, as the wind howls outside and candles flicker in the darkness, Zhan asks softly, "Have you ever looked into a mirror and seen a future you can't escape?" The words strike Yunsheng like thunder. He's been studying the legends of the Mirror of Fate for years, and this stranger speaks as though he has seen it, as though he knows. The following morning, Zhan leads Yunsheng into the forest, deeper than he's ever dared to go. The fog is thick, and the path seems to twist unnaturally, like time itself bending to their footsteps. They arrive at a clearing where an ancient shrine stands, broken but not forgotten. Vines creep over the stone pillars, and in the center, surrounded by cracked tiles, stands a mirror that doesn't reflect sunlight. It absorbs it. When Yunsheng approaches, the mirror trembles, and its surface ripples like black water. He sees not his reflection, but another version of himself, wearing the armor of an ancient warrior. And beside him, a man who looks like Zhan, clutching his hand as the world burns around them. They were lovers once, bound by an oath of protection and torn apart by betrayal. Zhan was a general who defied the heavens to save Yunsheng, a celestial being exiled for loving a mortal. Their love defied destiny, and the gods punished them by trapping their souls in the mirror, doomed to wander time until they find the courage to break the cycle. Yunsheng collapses, clutching his chest as memories flood in. Battles, blood, a forbidden kiss beneath a red moon, a promise whispered through tears. "If fate separates us, I'll find you in the next life." Again and again. Zhan catches him, his eyes burning with the same ancient sorrow. "You remember now," he says, voice trembling. "We were never supposed to meet again, but I broke the curse." The mirror glows violently. The wind roars. The forest comes alive with whispering voices, echoes of souls who never escaped their fates. The ground splits beneath them as Yunsheng and Zhan are pulled into the mirror itself, swallowed by its swirling light. When they awaken, they are no longer in the forest. They stand in a grand palace made of glass and moonlight, where time does not exist. This is the realm of reflections, the place where every choice, every regret, and every lost moment is eternally preserved. Here they meet their past selves, the warrior and the celestial scholar, bound by love yet torn by duty. The two pairs face each other, mirroring every gesture, every emotion. The present selves realize the truth. They have lived this same story countless times, always meeting, always falling in love, and always being separated before the final choice, to shatter the mirror and end the cycle. But shattering the mirror means destroying their bond forever. If they do it, they will never meet again in any lifetime. If they don't, they will keep reliving the same story, loving, losing, and forgetting. As the truth sinks in, the mirror begins to crack. The palace trembles. Their past selves urge them to make the choice neither of them ever could before. Tears glisten in Xiao Zhan's eyes as Yunsheng whispers, "If I lose you, what's the point of freedom?" And Wang Yibo's Ran answers softly, "If I don't let you go, what's the point of love?" They embrace as the mirror shatters into 1,000 shards of light. Time stops. Every reflection collapses, every lifetime burns away, and the curse that bound them for centuries finally breaks. The scene fades to silence, and then to a quiet sunrise. Yunsheng wakes in his small hut once again, the forest outside calm and green. Temple is gone. The mirror is gone. It's as if none of it ever happened. But when he looks into the small hand mirror on his desk, he sees not his own face, but Rant's smile, fading like mist. The story ends with Yunsheng writing the legend down, his hands trembling as he murmurs, "Some stories are not meant to be understood, only remembered." In a haunting final twist, the camera pans across his desk, where the ink from his pen slowly forms a reflection. Two shadows standing side by side, looking toward a horizon that no longer exists. The Mirror of Fate isn't just a story about reincarnation or curses. It's about love that refuses to obey the universe, a love that bends time and reshapes destiny. Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo bring an emotional depth that feels both divine and painfully human. Every glance between them, every whispered line, every silent moment feels heavy with centuries of longing. The soundtrack, haunting and ethereal, swells with strings and soft piano as the final words echo. Fate can take everything from us, except the memory of love. The night was darker than ink, and the mist that rolled across the mountain looked alive, whispering secrets to the wind. Inside the scholar's small wooden hut, a single candle burned, its flame trembling as if afraid of the truth it illuminated. Yunsheng, played by Xiao Zhan, sat surrounded by old scrolls, his delicate fingers brushing over faded ink that spoke of a legend few dared to believe. The legend of the Mirror of Fate, a mirror said to reveal not only destiny, but also the memories of past lives. He had spent years searching for proof, following fragments of myths across mountains and temples. But this night felt different. The wind itself seemed to hum with a warning. Then came the knock, soft at first, then louder. He opened the door to find a man, drenched, wounded, and barely conscious, collapsing into his arms. The stranger's clothes were torn, his breath shallow, and his eyes held a storm. That was Ran, played by Wang Yibo, a wanderer who appeared like a ghost from another time. As Yunsheng tended to his wounds, he couldn't shake off the feeling that he'd seen this man before. Not in this life, but somewhere beyond memory. The candle flickered again. The stranger's hand brushed his, and in that single touch, Yunsheng felt the weight of centuries. Battles fought, promises made, and a love that burned brighter than the stars but ended in fire. A flash of vision struck him. A battlefield under a blood-red sky, two men standing back to back as the world fell apart around them. And then the vision vanished. When Ran awoke, his voice was quiet but heavy with knowing. "You shouldn't have opened that door," he murmured. "Some destinies aren't meant to be found." Yunsheng froze. His heart pounded in his chest. "You know about the mirror?" he asked. Rant's gaze lifted, dark and unreadable. "I know what it shows. I know what it takes." That night, as rain lashed against the roof and thunder echoed like drums of fate, the two sat by the fire. The scholar's curiosity was a flame that couldn't be extinguished. "They say the mirror shows your destiny," he whispered. "But no one speaks of what happens after." Ran smiled faintly, but there was sorrow in his eyes. "Because those who see it never return the same. The mirror doesn't show what will be. It shows what has been, and what you've tried to forget." Li Yunsheng's breath caught. The firelight flickered across Amo Rant's face, revealing a small scar by his jaw, a mark that suddenly felt too familiar. The image of a warrior from his dreams, with that same scar, flashed in his mind. He had dreamed of that face since childhood, a dream that always ended with a promise whispered through tears. If the heavens tear us apart, I'll find you again. His hands trembled. Who are you? Amo Rant's answer was barely a whisper. Someone you loved, and lost. The silence that followed was unbearable. Outside, lightning struck the forest, illuminating the world in a blinding white. For a moment, Li Yunsheng saw something impossible, the reflection of the mirror itself flickering on the windowpane, glowing faintly behind them as if calling their names. The next morning, the mist was thicker than ever. Amo Ran stood by the doorway, gazing into the endless gray. It's close, he said. The mirror. I can feel it. Li Yunsheng hesitated. Then take me there. Amo Ran turned to him sharply. No. You don't understand what it will cost you. Once you see it, there's no turning back. But Li Yunsheng's resolve was unshakable. If it means knowing who I was, who we were, I'm willing to lose everything. And so, they ventured into the forest together. The deeper they went, the stranger it became. The air thickened, time seemed to twist, and shadows danced where there should have been none. Every step echoed like footsteps from another life. Suddenly, the path opened into a clearing where the ruins of an ancient temple stood. The walls were carved with symbols of time, fate, and rebirth. At the center, half buried under vines and dust, stood a mirror framed in silver and obsidian. Its surface was not glass. It was liquid darkness, swirling and alive. Amo Rant's voice trembled. We've been here before. Li Yunsheng reached out a hand, but before his fingers could touch it, the mirror pulsed. A beam of light shot out, surrounding them both. In a heartbeat, they were pulled into a different reality, one bathed in gold and fire. They stood in armor, surrounded by chaos. Soldiers shouted. Arrows filled the sky. Li Yunsheng looked down to see his own reflection, not as a scholar, but as a celestial guardian. Beside him Amo Ran, now a general fierce and unyielding, fought against a tide of enemies. Their eyes met amidst the storm, and in that glance, everything returned. The love, the betrayal, the vow that defied heaven. In their past life, they were forbidden to love, one a mortal bound by war, the other a divine being bound by celestial law. Yet they did. They loved in secret, and the heavens burned for it. When their secret was discovered, the gods cursed them, to live through eternity, finding each other again and again, but never remembering the full truth until it was too late. The battlefield around them began to fade. The mirror's voice echoed like thunder. Will you remember this time? Li Yunsheng fell to his knees, clutching his head as memories collided like crashing waves. He saw lifetimes, different eras, different faces, but always him and Amo Ran, always meeting, always parting, always bound. When he opened his eyes again, they were back in the temple ruins. The mirror's glow had dimmed, but something had changed. The air was charged with energy, and the bond between them pulsed like a heartbeat. Amo Ran stepped closer, lifting Li Yunsheng's trembling hand to his lips. We've broken one layer of the curse, he whispered. But the mirror isn't done with us yet. Li Yunsheng looked up, his voice cracking. Then let it show us everything. I'd rather drown in the truth than live in ignorance. And in that moment, the mirror's surface rippled once more, showing glimpses of the next chapter of their fate. A burning palace, a crimson moon, and a choice that could destroy them both. The screen fades to black, leaving only the faint echo of Amo Rant's voice. No matter how many lifetimes it takes, I'll find you. Fire to all our amazing viewers. If this story pulled at your heart, if you felt the fire of destiny and love that defies time itself, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel.